বল।
স্যার, শোনা যাচ্ছে তো ঠিকঠাক?
হ্যাঁ, ঠিক আছে, একদম ঠিক আছে।
আচ্ছা। স্যার
হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে।
স্যার বলছি যে উনি জয়েন করছেন, ওনার ওই হেডফোনের এই এটাতে একটু প্রবলেম হচ্ছে বলে 2-3 মিনিট দেরি হবে, উনি ফোন করেছিলেন।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, উনি ঢুকলেই জয়েন আর স্টার্ট করে দেবো আমরা।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
আচ্ছা, প্রিন্সিপাল স্যার আছেন মনে হচ্ছে।
হ্যাঁ স্যার আছেন।
ঠিক আছে। হুম।
হ্যালো, হ্যালো,
হ্যালো
হ্যালো।
হ্যালো হ্যালো, শোনা যাচ্ছে। হ্যালো
হ্যালো,
হ্যালো হ্যালো। আমি সমস্ত পার্টিসিপেন্টসদের একটু বলবো, একটু ওয়েট করতে হচ্ছে। আমাদের স্পিকার একটু ইন্টারনেট ইস্যুস ফেস করছেন, তো উনি ওনার প্রবলেমটা সলভ হয়ে গেলেই উনি জয়েন করবেন শর্টলি।
হ্যালো, am I audible now?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ,
শোনা
ইয়েস ইয়েস
যাচ্ছে?
ইয়েস ইয়েস ইয়েস।
থ্যাঙ্কস গড, মানে অনেক কষ্টে এটাকে জুড়তে পেরেছি। কারণ এই আসলে রবিবার আই ডোন্ট নো হোয়াট হ্যাপেন্স টু খড়গপুর, ইন্টারনেটটা পুরো ডাউন থাকে। হ্যাঁ,
আচ্ছা
তো তো এবার কি করা যায়? তো শ্যাল উই স্টার্ট অফ?
হ্যাঁ, আমি তাহলে শুরু করছি।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে।
স্যার আমি স্টার্ট করছি স্যার।
হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে।
Good morning, everyone present here. Today's lecture is the second lecture of Biotalk 2024. After an overwhelming response participants from the first lecture, today is yet another day when I, on behalf of my department and my college, have got the fortunate chance to welcome again the August gathering here, including all the students, research scholars, and revered faculties from colleges in West Bengal and outside West Bengal. Now, we are highly obliged for your kind presence. We are very much obliged and thankful to our revered speaker, Dr. Doipan Sinha, to lend us his valuable time from his busy work schedule. And now I will request our Honorable Principal Sir, Dr. Deepak Vargav, to please welcome this August gathering. Sir, please.
Good morning, all of you. Madam, I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good morning, all of you. Respected speaker, sir, Dr. Tuipan Sinha, from Government General Degree College of Mohanpur, of course, sir, we are very much honored and privileged to have our this Biotalk program. And as your topic says, use from the age extinction threat conservation and conservation measures. This will help really for those who are listeners and the students that carry on very long way because and I'm much more grateful to the Department of Botany of Raja Rammohun Mahavidyalaya that they have arranged this Biotalk program and this is the second one. In the January they have arranged one and this is the second one and the time they have spent and they have arranged all these things. Really, it is a matter of praise and hopefully in the future they will arrange all these programs again and again so that the college will take a new height for us. And for our speaker, reverend speaker, sir, we are much more grateful to you. Out of your busy schedule, you have arranged such a time for us to give your valuable talk to us, and that will really beneficial for us. I hope all the listeners will learn from it, and students specifically, they will learn from this talk, and they will have implement it in a big way in the future. Thank you, sir, for your valuable time, and thanks to all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the welcome speech. Now, actually, Biotalk is an online lecture series conceived by our Department of Botany, to pervade among the participants the need to care, love, and nourish nature and nature's resources. In other words, it wants to develop a multidisciplinary approach to let all think beyond their genre and subject for a sustainable future. Now, Botany Department of Raja Rammohun Rai Mahavidyalaya began its journey in 1974-75. Until date, it has been beautifully attired and nourished by the care of revered teachers and the most precious asset of us, a set of students now excelling in different fields of plant science. Despite being part of a college of a most rural area devoid of all developed technologies, our department has harbored a well equipped laboratory and atmosphere, a biodiversity garden named Basudha, herbaria, seed repository, etc. And till date, it has organized 3 national seminars, many social outreach programs, workshops, books, manuals, proceedings, all with valid ISBN numbers. And recently, the prestigious one, our college has signed a MOU with West Bengal Biodiversity Board for establishing a biodiversity park, for which Botany Department has been given a fortunate chance to be present in the advisory part. In Biotalk, every month there will be one lecture delivered by eminent speakers. For this month, we are very fortunate to listen from Honorable Dr. Doipan Sinha. He is presently serving Government General Degree College, Mohanpur, Paschim Mednipur, as an assistant professor in Department of Botany. His academic career has been profoundly jeweled by many renowned schools and colleges. After doing PhD from Presidency College and Masters from Delhi University, he has acquired his doctorate degree from CSIR Indian Institute of Toxicology Research, Lucknow. He has published many papers in journals and of national and international repute. He has been conferred with many prestigious awards like Environment Excellence Award in 2021, International Academy of Science and Research Excellence Award in 2009, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Excellence Award in 2022, etc. He is a member of review and editorial board of many prestigious journals. In short, his academic and professional career is bestowed with many such aspects of excellence. Sir will enrich us today with his talk entitling Gymnosperms on the Age, its extinction threats and conservation measures. Sir, it's now over to you. Please, sir.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for this kind introduction. I first of all express my thanks and gratitude to Rammohun College for providing me a platform to share some of my research or some of my findings or some informations related to the conservation of gymnosperm. I express my thanks to Dr. Ratul Bhattacharya for requesting me to give this lecture. I also thank the head of the Department of Botany of Rammohun College for also providing me the opportunity to join in this stage. It has been a wonderful experience as of now. Thank you so much. So with this, I also thank all the students and other faculties or whoever who have joined in this online lecture series. And so with this, I need your permission to start off the presentation. So shall I do the presentation now?
Yes, sir. Please, please.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. It's audible.
Hello.
It's audible.
Hello.
Yes, audible. Audible.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
I'm so sorry. The internet is getting disrupted
Oh,
a
okay.
number of times. Hmm. Anyway, I'm just trying to share the screen now. Hmm. Screen share. Is my screen visible right now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So the topic of my lecture is gymnosperm on the edge, relevance of conservation. So this topic is absolutely or largely for the students to make them aware of the importance of conservation, taking gymnosperm as a model system. And before getting into the details, I have divided this I have divided this lecture into a number of parts. The very first is a brief history about the gymnosperm, and that will cover the origin and evolution. And well, I would illustrate a number of fossilized genera to brief about the history and evolution. Why I would do that? Because unless we know the history of the plant, we won't be able to evaluate how important it is to conserve the plant at present. The second phase would be straight away in relation to conservation. And basically we botanists do some wonderful job, but somehow there is a deep feeling in my mind that ultimately the zoologist or the animal biologist will just show conservation biology is concerned. So I had taken the help of a few examples where animals will be also there just to explain how the conservations are done. So with this, I start off with my lecture, the first slide. So as you all know, so what a gymnosperm, that is the non-flowering plant lineage. They does not contain any seed. So non-flowering are the pteridophytes also. The bryophytes can be also called as non-flowering plant. But what's unique in the gymnosperm, that they have seeds and they have true trachees. So this is their specialty, that they have a proper vasculature, but they does not produce any seed. They have a proper vasculature, but they does not produce any seeds, and they have been dominating this planet from since 200 million years. So they were the first trees in the earth to exceed a height of 2 meters or more, and have originated well around 400 to 370 million years ago in the Devonian period. So that is their big achievement. So gymnosperms were one of the first trees on the earth. So at that time, that is in the Devonian age, you are having grossly the four groups of plant: Lycopsida, Cladozylopsida, Progymnospermopsida, and Equisetopsida. The three groups I won't discuss because that does not fall in the lecture, the domain of the lecture. Maybe you can have a very good idea. There are lots of information in the internet. There are lots of information of the group in the books also about Lycopsida, Cladozylopsida, and Equisetopsida, and they also represent us some beautiful tree representatives. But I would rather focus on Progymnospermopsida. This is a very interesting. It's a very interesting group. That is, the name suggests Progymnospermopsida. That is what before the gymnosperms. Plants before the gymnosperms. So they have a lot of similarity with the gymnosperms, but they are not really gymnosperms. They are actually plants with a free sporing life cycle. They are plants with a free sporing life cycle, but their anatomical details represents the gymnosperm. So I just brief about one of the representatives of Progymnospermopsida. So the Archaeopteryx, and I hope it's there in the syllabus of botany honors, even botany pass also. These are studies of Archaeopteryx. It's one of the beautiful plant representatives of Progymnospermopsida. And what's interesting is that initially Archaeopteryx was thought to be a gymnosperm. I'm sorry, a pteridophyte. So the stem section or the wood section was initially discovered as a calizylon, and separately along with the calizylon there were some fern-like foliage in fossilized form that were also discovered, and they were named as Archaeopteryx. But calizylon was thought to be a gymnospermous member and Archaeopteryx a fossilized fern. But people never thought that these two fossils were of same plants unless Beck, he's one of the very eminent paleobotanists, discovered that there's one specimen where a Archaeopteryx frond, that is a fern-like frond, was attached to the calizylon stem. So that led to the formation of the group Progymnosperm. So why Progymnosperm? Calizylon stem had a lot of anatomical similarities with that of gymnosperm, which especially with respect to their vessel pitting pattern. Oh, sorry, not vessel, tracheids. Pitting pattern, the ornamentation of the xylems or the tracheids, and the pits in the radial walls of the xylem. So that concluded the scientists that this is possibly of a gymnospermous wood. But later on, the whole concept changed, and this Archaeopteryx genus came into existence, where you find a gymnospermous wood with a life cycle of a pteridophyte. This is free-floating pteridophyte. Okay, so this is the concept of a progymnosperm. So you can get a hint of the evolution of gymnosperm from here only. And I now go to the next representative, that the pteridosperms. So next I'm going to the group of pteridosperms. So these are another magnificent group. So as the name suggests, pteridosperms. So they were also a group where they were having a pteridophytic morphology, especially with respect to their fronds, that is, especially with respect to their leaves. So they also appeared somewhere in the upper Devonian, and they reached their maximum height in the Carboniferous, and they gradually declined in the Jurassic period. Okay, and you can see this is the picture of their origin and decline of a number of gymnosperms. So this picture is of immense importance, and it will come down later on in the lecture also. So why I'm showing this picture here? You can see that the Pteridospermalis, they originated somewhere in the Devonian and went missing in the Triassic, Jurassic, and ultimately, though this is also overlaps with the origin and extinction of Catonialis also. That is another magnificent group having a similarity. But by Cretaceous, no pteridosperms. Another group you can see, Benetitalis, that is also very important. So this is also a gymnosperm, Cycadiardalis. You can see a very narrow range of occurrence from Triassic to Cretaceous. Gingualis, you can see, it originated somewhere in the Permian, and it decreased in number and still it is continuing as only one genus, that is the Ginkgo biloba. Why I am elaborating this? Because this would be related to conservation. So Chordatalis, you can see, that is a conifer member, or you can say pre-conifer member. So they originated somewhere in the Devonian and ended in Permian or the early Triassic. Okay, see, only the Coniferalis proliferated. You can see only the Coniferalis proliferated in the Cenozoic era, and it's still there. It's still there somewhere. But most of the group of gymnosperms are either extinct or they had severely diminished in size. Okay, so here also you can see the Cycadalis. Cycadalis originated in Triassic, and they are reduced and going on reduction. Okay, so let me go to the next slide. So coming back to pteridosperms one again, they were actually plants with the fronds like ferns, but they had a seed. So these groups of plant had evolved to some extent. Instead of being free sporting like of Archaeopteryx, they had having seeds. Now, I'll just discuss about the evolution of seeds also. Or else it won't be appropriate to go ahead of this lecture. So, pteridosperms, basically they were two groups. One of the Paleozoic and other the Mesozoic. The Paleozoic, the majority is like Lygenopteridaceae, Medullosacea, and Calamophytiaceae, and Mesozoic is Glossopteridaceae, Peltospermaceae, Corystospermaceae, and Catoniaceae. Glossopteris, as you know, it's very popular. It's very popular, and you know what? Catoniaceae, that's another fascinating member. Another fascinating member, Catoniaceae almost represents an angiosperm. Almost represents an angiosperm, and initially when it was discovered, it was even thought to be an angiosperm. But later on, a very intricate and minute anatomical studies revealed that it's not an angiosperm, it's a cupulate gymnosperm. It had a cupule. Okay, now I'll explain what is the cupule also later on. So this is a screenshot of one of the most primitive, this is the paper actually, which states that the most primitive seed fern is Elkinsia polymorpha. That is, this belongs to the pteridosperms itself. This belongs to the pteridosperm. So this has been discovered, Elkinsia polymorpha, and I'll show the pictures also. So this is a picture of the progressive evolution of ovules among the pteridosperm. So you can see three pictures, A, B, and C. A is Monacentia zaliski. So you can see here, this is the somewhat the nucellus, the black structure, and the integuments are gradually encircled and are like a finger-like projection. That's it. So the nucellus is still not covered. In this figure B, what you can see, Elkinsia polymorpha, they are trying to protect the nucellus, and the integuments have become somewhat thicker and they are fused at the base. And the ultimate is Archaeosperma arnoldi. So here you can see the nucellus is almost covered, only a finger-like tips at the top, and it is resembling a micropyle-like structure, but still it's not a micropyle. Still it is not a micropyle. There is a pollen chamber. It is forming a pollen chamber. And this is a very, what I should say, common type of reproduction, hydrosperman type of reproduction. So these are the gradual evolutionary of an ovule. And what are cupules? All these are cupules. All these are cupules. Where are the cupules? See, these flanges are the cupules. For the sake of our understanding, these areas have been cut off. So a cupule in the earliest stage of development contains a number of ovules, multi-ovulate cupules. But in Lygenopteris, there has been a progressive reduction of the number of ovules to one only. Anyway, let's proceed. So these are the cupular structure of Elkinsia. So now I go straight away to the result. So what led to the decline of gymnosperms? The same picture I'm showing once again, but in a different format. So see, Pteridalis bicarbonis, they are showing by Carboniferous or Cretaceous, whatever. So Volzales, Corythanthales, all are extinct during the majority in the Permian. See, all are. So why they have been extinct? There is a reason behind extinction. So I will discuss those, but it won't be. I'm sorry. It would be appropriate to say that there has been a lot of deprivation to gymnosperms ever since their birth. All the harsh climatic condition, weather change have affected gymnosperms the most. And that led to their decline. And whatever we are seeing right at this moment is only a remnant. So don't get misled. If you see a gymnosperm population where you go to the mountain and see gymnosperm forest and conclude that lots of gymnosperms are there, yeah, by number there might be lots of gymnosperms, but by species, by diversity, it's very few. It's very few. So gymnosperms are deprived, and they are seriously facing extinction. Seriously facing extinction. So why? One of the major reasons is end Triassic mass extinction. You need to understand why gymnosperms got extinct. Then only you'll be able to understand what is the current scenario. So in end Triassic mass extinction, currently we are having a number of continents. So at that time there were no continent, only a big landmass and a Tethys Sea. So in end Triassic mass extinction, a major thing happened. That is the CAMP, Central Atlantic magmatic province. What is that? Huge volcanism. Huge volcanism. They have started in the red zone, and that red zone is presently somewhere between Africa and the American continents, where the Atlantic Ocean lies, and even the volcanoes are still there under the ocean. Anyway, so this had led to a severe mass extinction. Why? There has been a severe climatic change due to this volcanism. And you can see these are the pictures. These are the Palisade Hill on the Hudson River in New Jersey, that is somewhere in New York. So you can see these cliffs. These cliffs are a remnant of the volcanic eruption, totally lava cliffs. So you can see what a massive volcanic eruptions occurred. And similar cliffs are there around the world, which are bordering the Atlantic Ocean. It's there in the Scandinavian Peninsula also. Similar lava cliffs. So huge volcanism. So what happened? Due to this huge volcanism, our atmosphere largely got acidic. Sulfur, carbon, oxides of sulfur, oxides of carbon, even oxides of nitrogen got into the atmosphere. And that made everything acidic. Soil, water, air. That resulted in decline. The gymnosperms were one of the first to go out into the history. So I hope I am audible. There is no issue in the internet connectivity. Hello?
Yes, audible, fully audible.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So the gymnosperms were one of the first due to this massive climatic change. And animals were also there. I won't mention that. But gymnosperms were one of the first, or one of the most unfortunate, I should say. Most unfortunate. Anyway, so you can see the Triassic mass. This is the mid-Atlantic ridge, and you can see this person is walking in the road. This is not actually a road. This is a ridge, and on the right is the Eurasian plate, and on the left is the American plate. The same thing happens here. These are the pictures taken from the internet, and it belongs to Iceland. In Iceland, you can see wonderful example of mid-Atlantic ridge. So these two boulders are from different continents actually. So what happened? How the world ended? Carbon dioxide rise, global warming, wildfires, deforestation, downpours, ocean acidification, marine dead zone, vanishing coral reef, sea level rise, and on elemental level, mercury pollution, sulfur dioxide, halocarbons, methane, all these things happen in the Triassic mass extinction. So just evaluate yourself. These things happened in the past, and these things are happening here present also. All these things due to change in climate. And who are doing this change? Initially, it was the millions of years ago, it was the nature that has done these modulations. But now we are doing. You can see striking similarity of the mass extinction. So it's high time for us to take care of the environment. It's high time for us. So all these things happened in the past and happening at present also. So what is the difference with the present day? The obvious things is that we were not there in the past, but we have been doing all these things at present in the name of so-called development. We have been doing all hell of things. So this is a paper which I searched. The seed fern Lepidopteris mass produce abnormal pollen in the end Triassic mass extinction or the biotic. So why abnormal pollen? So those gymnosperm which somehow managed extinction, initial hit of extinction, this might have started to undergo mutation, severe mutation, and abnormal pollen might well be an indication of reduction of fertility. So if the pollen becomes abnormal, the reproduction is most likely to be hampered. Most likely to be hampered. So this is one of the example. Maybe a biotic example. So another. Once Triassic is gone, the second hit was the end Cretaceous mass extinction. And in this is very known to all of you that in this stage the dinosaurs were gone, totally wiped out. And what happened? It was a meteor that struck the Earth, and that struck the Earth that resulted in global fire, volcanism, same that of Cretaceous, and that crater is still there in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, and its name is Chicxulub crater. Though that crater is currently under the sea, that is the Gulf of Mexico or whatever, so that in the American continent. But geologists have demarcated that crater. So that is the region of impact. This is in the second impact, another phase of pteridophytes, gymnosperms were wiped out. So this is a very classic example, rather a paper. Seed ferns survived the end Cretaceous mass extinction. So this paper suggests two things. One, there were still some seed ferns in the end Cretaceous, the Cretaceous era that survived. But secondly, there is another hint: extinction in Tasmania. So why? So since anyway, after Cretaceous, the seed ferns were not there for sure. They were wiped out. So why Tasmania? Why you got this specimen from Tasmania? It is now assumed that even if a few seed ferns made their way into the Cretaceous by surviving all the Earth's climatic condition, those who made it were basically from higher latitude. So either extreme north or extreme south, where the Earth's temperature might be less. That is one of the reasons why this paper mentioned that mass extinction availability of the seed ferns in Tasmania. So they are way down, nearing the South Pole, though on Australian continent, but it's way down. Anyway, so this is the graph, the very complex graph, and my motive of showing this graph is another reason why the gymnosperms have decreased from Cretaceous. That is, the rise of angiosperms have put the gymnosperms on the verge of extinction, because the nature has chosen angiosperms as more efficient, primarily with respect to the propagation point of view. So that's why once the angiosperm flowered, gymnosperms were dwindling. So this is a molecular analysis as well as the paleobotanical analysis. Don't get into details. Just see this graph. This is the red line. Blue line is decrease of origination. So as we proceed towards the Neogene, the number of origination of gymnosperms were less and almost flattened. And this is severe increase of extinction. See, as we proceeded for Neogene, there's a current, the extinction percentage of gymnosperms increased. So these two, blue line and red lines, are very, very important. So where do we stand? At present, we are left with only 1,000 species of gymnosperm around. At present, we are left with around only 1,000. Cygadophyta, Coniferophyta, Nitophyta, and Gingophyta. And out of that, conifers consists of only around 39%. That is majority of the are conifers. And they are around 2 to 3 orders of magnitude lower than the angiospermic species. Lower than the angiospermic species. So yes, gymnosperms are fighting for their last stand. They are fighting hard to thrive in this condition. And their extinction, we are driving them to their extinction. So where they are left now, this is the taiga. Taiga is somewhere near the belt, near the North Pole. It covers the Russian region, the Canadian region, largely. So here you can find good vegetation of gymnosperms, other conifers. But here also, their life is now at threat because the soil was considered to be a permafrost. The soil was considered to be a permafrost at one point of time, but until recently it is discovered that due to the climatic change, these soils are now thawing. These soils are now thawing. And if the soil gets thawed, the existence of these conifers would also be at stake. And so as the animals who are seen to be roaming around, these are basically some deer-like animals. So they thrive in this extreme cold. And they might also eat the leaves and leaflets of these gymnosperms as food. So both of their extinction might get extinct if this climatic condition continues. Now, are gymnosperms at a risk of extinction? Yes, definitely they are. Well, 40% of the gymnosperms are at a risk of extinction. Currently, those who are still alive, around 40% are still at a risk of extinction. Now, yes, we are cutting them down. We are changing the climate due to our aspirations to grow. So they are now rapidly diminishing in numbers. So what lies the solution? Conservation and strict conservation is the only approach by which we can save these gymnosperms. The only approach. So now I'll get into the next stage of my discussion, the age of extinction program. This is straight away related to the conservation. Evolutionary distinct and globally endangered. These are two words, evolutionary distinct and globally endangered. So I'll discuss these two words separately. And evolutionary distinct is largely investigated by molecular level, and globally endangered are basically a survey level. So Age of Extinction Program is a research and conservation initiative by the Zoological Society of London. So their motive was to evaluate the animals, how endangered they were. And they have been working very hard to protect the animals. So the Age of Extinction Program uses age list to prioritize species conservation. So the age list comprise the most distinct and threatened species of the earth. And if one of the species is lost, that long branch of tree life would be lost. So at next stage, I'll discuss what is a tree life. So this is the life of the tree. So this tree shows how one species is related to one another. You can log into this website to see the interactive interface of this one. If you click to each and every leaves, these leaves would magnify. I hope I could have shown you this, but the time is very limited. And the relation with these leaves with the other leaves will be magnificently shown. So try at home. Just note this down. You can see the tree of life. So, how age species were identified? The age species are custodians of evolutionary history. Very important because they have an unique evolution and they have been thriving in this unique evolutionary line in a very unique way. মানে বাংলায় বলতে গেলে সবার থেকে আলাদা. That is the edge. So, a species are identified with two criteria. How much evolutionary history a species is expected and is responsible in the future. And how close a species is to extinction. So these two criteria are evaluated and an age species are demarcated. The first one is largely based on phylogenetic trees, molecular studies, and second one is largely dependent on IUCN or similar survey and similar research. So how age is scored? Age is basically a number. One is evolutionary distinctiveness and another is global endangerment. So these two numbers are added to make an age number. More the age number, the more priority a species should have from conservation point of view. Evolutionary distinctiveness is based on molecular level and age is we should randomly survey, repeatedly survey to find what is the status of that plant or of the animal at present. So, coming a few examples of animals. This is Tautara, one of the very unique age species. This is the only species order of which is still at present. You can say it's a living fossil. It's a living fossil. It's presently located in some of the islands of New Zealand. So this is one of the age species. I'll show some other examples also, but before that, what is an evolutionary distinctness? See this tree. This tree here you can see species A. It's marked as red, and there are other branches also, and they are possibly represented by other species, and there are B and C species. So suppose if species A is extinct, what is the characteristics feature of this A? That is, they have totally a separate line of evolution. They branched very early. So if A is lost, this evolutionary line would be totally lost. And this species doesn't have a very close relative because all the branches branched later on. So it's highly required that this species should be conserved. And what's about B and C? They are much closely related. And they also have related species. So species B and species C would require less priority. So another example of a species is the aardvark. It's a pig-like creature, but only species of the mammalian order Turbulidentata. And presently its reproduction has been initiated and it's possibly located in Africa. So this is one of the species from the mammalian end that is an age species. From the amphibian, the Mexican burrowing toad. This is also an age species. From the bird point of view, the oil bird, an age species. No close relative at present. So as you know, this picture is quite common, globally endangered species, and the IUCN categorized in this fashion. Now, the age gymnosperm. Age program has currently accommodated gymnosperms also. So in this section or in this phase, I'll take some examples, rather a number of examples of how alarming the condition of gymnosperm is. How alarming. Number one, the top of the list remains the ginkgo biloba. It has been overexploited for thousands of years. It was there in China and Japan, and now it is almost gone, and now thriving in the monasteries as a religious symbol. So this is an unknowing or maybe an inadvertent mode of conservation. That is, once it is threatened, make it a religious item so that it gets conserved. So now ginkgo biloba is mostly present in the monasteries, or there are definitely some research going on for propagation and for mass cultivation. But in this way, they have been somewhat conserved. They have been somewhat conserved. They were flourishlessly growing in China, but now they are not no more there. Possibly there is no wild strand also. It is one of the top members of the H species, ginkgo biloba. Next, another species, Wollemi pine, Wollemia nobilis, is critically endangered. It was initially believed that this pine is gone, it's dead. But in 1994, it was accidentally rediscovered in the Wollemi National Park of Australia. And currently, only 80 mature individuals see, only 80, not even 100. So see their condition. And they are currently threatened by wildfires. So change in global climatic condition is almost driving them towards extinction. So conservation, Wollemi pine conservation is there. These areas have been totally restricted. Common people are generally not allowed to visit. Even for the research scholars, there are strict phytosanitary precautions, and some ex situ conservations have also been initiated. And let's see what happens. Another one, Araucaria angustifolia. In last 100 years, 97% of population is gone. Why gone? We are making furnitures, we are making timbers, we are doing this, we are doing that, and we are cutting the forest. We are cutting the forest, and it is critically endangered at present. Araucaria angustifolia. And one point I should share, Araucaria doesn't grow normally or naturally in northern hemisphere. It grows naturally as wild in southern hemisphere. And what we see here, those are cultivated and introduced species. So this is a very interesting fact about Araucaria. So this is another plant that is almost going towards extinction. Same for Acmopyle sahaniana. This is endemic to Fiji, and only 5 localities with an estimated population of 200. Only 200 plants are left. This one, Microcycus calacoma, critically endangered. Critically endangered. Around maximum 240 are supposed to be there in Cuba. Around 250. And Cuban government is trying to protect the plant. But what is the problem with the cycads? You know, their regeneration is so slow. So they are failing to keep up the pace. That is the biggest problem of the cycads. The regeneration is very slow. And this is very interesting. Parasitexus usta is the only parasitic conifer. And it's endemic to New Caledonia of the Pacific Ocean. And it parasitizes another conifer, Falcatifolium taxoides. So this is vulnerable. the number of them are also decreasing. It's a glaring example. So the environmental crisis has reached everywhere. In this remote island of New Caledonia, there also you are seeing the climatic change. There you can see the habitat degradation, and you are seeing the vulnerability of the species. Another one is Sciadopitys verticillata. It's near threatened due to our overexploitation only. Only 100 individuals are present. Only 100. Metasequoia glyptosporidis present in China. This is also endangered. Sequoia sempervirens is very common. It is one of the biggest plants presently in the earth, and it is now endangered. And now it has been highly protected by the United States government. Another one is Taiwania cryptomeroides. This is located in Taiwan, China, and even somewhere in the Myanmar region. So now historical logging has almost wiped out the population, almost. And there has been efforts to conserve this. Same goes for this plant, Thuja sarsuensis, due to anthropogenesis activity is endangered. This plant is also endangered. Abies besanzuensis, only a handful of matured individuals, critically endangered. Most of the species that are endangered is coming from China. It's very interesting. This China is having a very critically endangered number of species. So this is how the abyss is conserved. Both ex situ and in situ preservation are getting initiated. Pinus quamata, again from China. Only 20 mature individuals. Now just see what we are doing. We are logging it out. We are cutting the trees, indiscriminate cutting, indiscriminate. And the things are happening in India also. I'll cite an example in India of an Indian plant also. Physia ichiensis. Is located in China, Tibet, and Bhutan. This is also vulnerable, and logging is banned currently. After so much reduction in population, they have banned the logging. So this is an example from India, Amentotaxus assamica. It is somewhere located in the Arunachal Pradesh, and this plant is endangered. And the most sad part is that people of this locality themselves doesn't know that it is endangered. They are using it ethnobotanically. They are using for fires. They are using for logging. And a very few papers are there on Amentotaxus about its conservation. Now, some local travelers have taken the responsibility to make people aware that you should conserve it. This is an example. I took this from a newspaper. Plant with Jurassic link under stress. This is Cycas pectinata. In Bhutan, the regeneration of Cycas pectinata is now in a question due to climatic change and due to proximal presence of a male or a female plant. So what lies ahead? We, the academicians, have immense responsibility to protect the biodiversity, to protect the gymnosperm, to protect the angiosperms and animals. So this age program offers fellowship. Those who are interested can get into the details in their website, and they offer a fellowship of a good amount, $10,000, 10,000 pounds. And you will be assigned some specific work to protect a specific species or evaluate the condition of a specific species. So lots of options for students in the conservation biology arena. Lots of options. Just you need to be industrious. Just you need to be aware and study well. So this girl, Yeshu Bashial, so she has been working on Mariziu in Nepal. So these age fellows, they work on a specific tree. And Assam catkin, this guy is working on endangered Assam catkin. I have shown that picture. You can also join IUCN. IUCN also involves a number of projects. You can click on their link, get involved, to see how you can join from the research point of view. Become an IUCN member, join an IUCN commission, find a grant opportunity. This grant opportunity is specifically for research. You check their website. Supporting conservation. So IUCN also supports conservation. You can join them. You can get grants. You can initiate the conservation process. And those who are interested in paleobotany, you can join the Paleontological Society, and they also offer fellowship. They also offer fellowship. They publish papers. They offer grants and awards. The Paleontological Society. So with this, I end the lecture, and feel free to communicate me in my email ID or WhatsApp number or whatever. And any questions and any queries, you are most welcome to ask. And thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your excellent demonstration and deliberation. Now I will ask our participants if anyone wish to interact with our revered speaker. Please go on.
Hello, ma'am. I'm audible. Am I audible?
Yes, 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 yes. Please.
Hello.
Hello, you're audible. Please go on.
ম্যাম বলছি বাংলাতে বলি আমি
অবশ্যই, no problem.
হ্যাঁ স্যার যে কোশ্চেনটা ছিল যে জিমনোস্পার্মটা আমরা বেশিরভাগটা আপনি বললেন যে মাস এক্সটেনশন বা অর্থাৎ ন্যাচারাল যে ক্যাটাস্ট্রফিজম এই সকলের ফলে হয়েছে। এখন কোশ্চেন হচ্ছে যে আমরা যে অতিরিক্ত গাছ কাটছি এর ফলেও তো অনেকটা আমাদের বিলুপ্ত হয়েছে জিমনোস্পার্মটা। তো এক্ষেত্রে আমরা কি এই সকল জিমনোস্পার্মগুলোর এনডিএফএস করতে পারি বা পারি না?
নিশ্চয়ই পারো, কিন্তু ঘটনা হচ্ছে যে তোমাকে বিভিন্ন অ্যাপ্রোচে কনজার্ভ করতে হবে। there are some classical approach, হ্যাঁ, ex-situ conservation, সেগুলো করতে হবে। তার সঙ্গে সঙ্গে সবথেকে গুরুত্বপূর্ণ হচ্ছে একটা চ্যালেঞ্জিং টাস্ক, এটা তোমাকে একটা মলিকুলার লেভেলে কনজারভেশনটাও চেষ্টা করতে হবে থ্রু দা টিস্যু কালচার মেথড। যদিও জিমনোস্পার্মে টিস্যু কালচার ইজ ডেফিনেটলি চ্যালেঞ্জিং ডিউ টু প্রেজেন্স অফ এ নাম্বার অফ অয়েলস এন্ড রেজিনস, সেটা একটা হিন্ড্রেন্স আছে বটে, কিন্তু টিস্যু কালচারেও কিন্তু তোমরা চেষ্টা করতে পারো সবকিছু সোশ্যাল, ক্লাসিক্যাল, কনভেনশনাল অ্যান্ড মলিকুলার, এই চারটেকে একসঙ্গে তোমাকে নিয়ে জিমনোস্পার্মকে কনজার্ভ করতে হবে।
ওকে স্যার।
Sir.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Yes.
Sir,
yes.
I have a question on the origin of angiosperms from the gymnosperm plants. There are several theories. Type Benedictalis theory, psychedelic theory, and Natalis theory. My question is between the psychedelic theory and Natalis theory, which one is more reliable for the origin of angiosperm?
সাইকাডিয়ালিস আর সেকেন্ডলি কি বলছো কোনটা?
Natalis
নিটালিস।
theory, হ্যাঁ, এটা which one is reliable?
দেখো কথাটা তো খুব ভালো বললে, সাইকাডিয়ালিস আর নিটালিস। হ্যাঁ, এই যে থিওরি দুটো বলা হয়েছে, হ্যাঁ, ইফ আই এম নট রং, হ্যাঁ, most of them are largely based on morphological, anatomical and evolutionary point of view. দুটোরই মেরিটস আছে, দুটোরই ডিমেরিটস আছে। হ্যাঁ, এখন সাইকাডিয়ালিসের সঙ্গেও তোমার অ্যাঞ্জিওস্পার্মের অনেক সিমিলারিটি আছে, নিটালিসের সঙ্গে অনেক সিমিলারিটি আছে। এই এবার রিলায়েবল কথাটা কিন্তু খুব ডাইসি। আমি কথাটাকে পুরো অন্য ডোমেনে নিয়ে গিয়ে বলবো, যদি রিলায়েবল কথাটাই খোঁজা হয়, হ্যাঁ, সাইকাডিয়ালিসকে তো আর পাওয়া যাবে না। হ্যাঁ, আমার মনে হয় প্রেজেন্ট জিমনোস্পার্ম যারা আছে তাদের সঙ্গে মলিকুলার লেভেলে কম্পারিজন করে দেখা যাওয়া যেতে পারে কোনটা থেকে বা কিভাবে এভলিউশনটা এসছে, স্পেসিফিক্যালি দ্য RNA অ্যানালিসিস এন্ড এটসেট্রা অর দ্য ক্লোরোপ্লাস্ট জিনোম অ্যানালিসিস হোয়াটএভার বি সো। হ্যাঁ, সেইখান থেকে তোমার রিলায়েবল একটা লাইন তুমি ড্র করতে পারো। ফ্রম ক্লাসিক্যাল পয়েন্ট অফ ভিউ both of them can be accepted, and for me at least it is very difficult to say na psychedelics is good or nitalis is good. দুটোরই সিমিলারিটি আছে। হ্যাঁ, কেমন করে বলি যে আমি, it's difficult for me to advocate or stand in one group, okay, I don't care for nitalis or I don't care for psychedelics. Best is go for the molecular studies. আর বল।
Okay sir, thank you, okay,
welcome.
Anyone? Is there anyone who wants to interact with our honorable speaker? Okay. Actually, we have got in our chat box many messages about the wonderful deliberation and excellent demonstration of our revered speaker. We are all enriched by your deliberation, sir. Now, I will request our HOD, sir, Dr. Partho Sarathi Mukhopadhyay, to please give the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Ratul. So thank you, Dr. Sinha, for your nice, lucid, elaborate presentation. It's a proud privilege for us to have you as our revered speaker of Biotalk 2 as a part of our commemorative Diamond Jubilee lectures series of our institution. Hope your topic today enlightened the participants very nicely. So thank you very much for taking much pain in presenting the talk by arranging so many nice slides with a very short period of time. I also take the opportunity to thank all the participants, particularly the students, research scholars, faculty members from in and around at the national level. It's also, I am also grateful to our principal sir for his help all the way. I thank all my colleagues for their enthusiasm in conducting the Biotalk Talk 2 very efficiently. Again, I thank you all. Till we meet again for Biotalk 3 to be held in March. We would announce the date shortly soon, most probably on the first week of March. So thank you. Till we
Thank you.
meet again, I request Ratul to declare the session in.
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার। আমার একটা রিকোয়েস্ট ছিল আমাদের অনারেবল স্পিকারের কাছে, যদি আমাদের পার্টিসিপেন্টসদের কোনো ইনকোয়ারি থাকে আফটার দিস, সো ক্যান ইউ প্লিজ শেয়ার ইউর ইমেল আইডি so that I can share it to them and they can interact with you.
Yes, definitely. I'm always open for discussion, especially with respect to this gymnosperm and paleobotany, because that happens to be my direct subject and specialization. আমার সঙ্গে সবাই যোগাযোগ করতে পারেন, স্টুডেন্টরা অবশ্যই করো। আমার মনে হয় ডক্টর রাতুল ভট্টাচার্য is having my email ID, or else I can try to type it out, even email ID and mobile
হ্যাঁ, আমার
number.
কাছে আছে, আপনি যদি পারমিট করেন I will share it
Yes,
to
definitely. You can share my email ID, you can share my mobile number, and I'm always there to help the students out. Definitely.
আমি আমার একটা লাস্ট কোয়েশ্চেন ছিল, যে মানে আমরা অ্যাজ ফার অ্যাকর্ডিং টু ইয়োর ডেমনস্ট্রেশন, যে জিমনোস্পার্মসরা দে আর ফেসিং আ গ্রেট থ্রেট অফ এক্সটিংশন, কিন্তু অ্যাজ কম্পেয়ার টু অ্যাঞ্জিওস্পার্মস এখানে কেন মলিকিউলার লেভেলেও কাজটা কম হচ্ছে, যাতে অ্যাঞ্জিওস্পার্মসের যে কনজারভেশন স্ট্র্যাটেজিস গুলো আমরা মোটামুটি দেখতে পাই বা আমরা জার্নাল দেখে জানতে পারছি, কম্পারেটিভলি সেটার থেকে কেন জিমনোস্পার্মসের ডেটা আমরা কম পাচ্ছি? মানে কনজারভেশন স্ট্র্যাটেজি গুলো নিতে কোন জায়গায় অসুবিধা, স্পেশালি ইন দ্য মলিকিউলার ফিল্ড?
আচ্ছা, বলি এটা। হ্যাঁ, এখানে বলতে গেলে তো সায়েন্স থেকে বেরিয়ে কথা বলতে হবে, টু বি ভেরি অনেস্ট। এটার উত্তর সাইন্টিফিক্যালি দেওয়া যাচ্ছে না। এটার উত্তর হচ্ছে, আমি মনে করি ইটস লার্জলি ডিউ টু আওয়ার নেগলিজেন্স। আমরা যেভাবে অ্যাঞ্জিওস্পার্ম দেখি সেভাবে জিমনোস্পার্মকে দেখছি না। শুধু জিমনোস্পার্ম কেন, হাউ মেনি অফ আস আর ডুইং রিসার্চ ইন কনজারভেশন অফ ব্রায়োফাইটস? Have you ever tried to know how many bryophytes are there which are facing extinction? How many pteridophytes are there? We don't. We only focus in angiosperm. Even in our syllabus, MSc, PhD, taxonomy মানে কি? Angiosperm taxonomy. Calyx, corolla, androsium, gynoecium. এই যে কনসেপ্ট, এই চারটে ফান্ডামেন্টাল কনসেপ্ট, এটা তো শুরুই হচ্ছে অ্যাঞ্জিওস্পার্ম থেকে। So why not cupules? Why not ovules? Why not evolution of ovules? কেন না? এখানে তো সিলেকশন আমরাই করে দিচ্ছি, নেচার সিলেকশনের মতন। I'm not accusing anyone, with due respect to everyone. যেমন ন্যাচারাল সিলেকশন, তেমন এখন সিলেবাস সিলেকশন। We are straight away starting from Calyx corolla. সেখানেই তো জিমনোস্পার্ম, টেরিডোফাইট এন্ড ব্রায়োফাইট বাদ পড়ে গেল। তো হবে কেমন করে কনজারভেশন? তাও যারা করছে, hats off to them. They're trying to conserve the gymnosperm, trying to conserve the pteridophyte and bryophyte. Definitely হয়তো কিছু কাজ হচ্ছে, but definitely you are very true, এত কাজ হচ্ছে না as compared to angiosperm. Unless we are aware, একটা সাবজেক্টকে যদি আপন না করতে পারি, সে কিন্তু এক্সটিংক্ট হয়েই যাবে। এরকম অনেক সাবজেক্ট আছে যেটা এক্সটিংক্ট হয়ে গেছে, এখন আর কেউ পড়াশোনা করে না। ভেরি স্যাড। I won't specify each and every individual name, but কেউ পড়াশোনা করে না। কেন কেন হবে সেটা? Please don't take my word very arrogantly, but I am logically explaining. এটার একটাই উত্তর, you should popularize the subject. Unless you popularize the subject, it would be difficult for us to conserve. That is the only one answer. আর এর মধ্যে কোনো সায়েন্স নেই, এটা এর মধ্যে সাইকোলজি আছে। জিমনোস্পার্ম স্পেশাল এমএসসি তে কেন দেওয়া হয় না? কেন, সেটার উত্তর আমি চাই না। হয় না, হয়তো খুব কম ইউনিভার্সিটিতে জিমনোস্পার্ম স্পেশাল আছে। Paleobotany special is there, still there, but there is no gymnosperm or pteridophyte specialization. ওই প্যালিওবটনির সঙ্গে পাঞ্চ করে আমরা জিমনোস্পার্ম আর টেরিডোফাইটকে সামহাট একটু পড়ে নিই, কিন্তু একটা ইলাবোরেট জিমনোস্পার্ম এন্ড টেরিডোফাইট বা একটা ক্রিপ্টোগ্রামিক বটানি ইলাবোরেট স্পেশালাইজেশন হচ্ছে না। সেটাও কিন্তু রিজন, আনলেস স্টুডেন্টস আর ইনকালকেটেড with the importance of this group, how do you expect that this group will get a priority? তাই না?
একদম একদম আমার মনে হয় ক্লাসিক্যাল বটানির যে ডিগ্রেডেশন ইন সিলেবাস অ্যাজ ওয়েল অ্যাজ ইন আওয়ার থটস, সেটা হয়তো মানে ভীষণভাবে রেসপন্সিবল এটার জন্য।
ক্লাসিক্যাল বোটানি তো দরকার আছে, না হলে আমরা বাকিটা জানতেই পারবো না। হঠাৎ করে একজনকে ডিএনএ আরএনএ নিয়ে বসানো যায় না। আর শুধু ক্লাসিক্যাল বোটানি কি, এখানে একটা মানে একটা অদ্ভুত সেক্টারিয়ানিজম করা আছে যে আমরা অ্যাঞ্জিওস্পার্ম থেকে শুরু করবো, বটানি মানে অ্যাঞ্জিওস্পার্ম। ইভেন আমি স্টুডেন্টদের মুখে শুনেছি, স্যার অ্যালগি পড়তে ভালো লাগে না, স্যার ব্রায়োফাইটটা বোরিং লাগে, স্যার টেরিডোফাইটটা বুঝি না, স্যার প্যালিওবোটানি তো আরো বুঝি না। আর বুঝতে না বুঝতে আমাদের সিলেবাস থেকে, বোর্ড অফ স্টাডি থেকে প্যালিওবোটানিটা ভুলেই যাচ্ছে লোকজন। ইভেন উইথ দ্য টিচার্স ওই প্যালিওবোটানি পড়ে কি হবে ওটা কেউ বোঝে না। আনফর্চুনেটলি অনেকে বলেই ফেলে ওটার পড়ানোরই লোক নেই, তাই প্যালিওবোটানি সিলেবাসটাকেই উঠিয়ে দেওয়া হয়। স্যাডলি এটা হয়েছে। বীরবল সাহানি ইনস্টিটিউট অফ প্যালিওবটনি আগে নাম ছিল মানে সি দ্য কন্ডিশন অফ বটনি, এখন নাম হয়েছে বীরবল সাহানি ইনস্টিটিউট অফ প্যালিও সায়েন্সেস। বটনি নামটা উঠে গেল। অনেকটা কিন্তু আমরাও রেসপন্সিবল। আমরা যদি প্রায়োরিটাইজ না করি, জিমনোস্পার্ম কনজারভেশনটা পরের কথা, লেটস প্রায়োরিটাইজ বটনি অলসো, ক্লাসিক্যাল বটনি অলসো।
একদম। থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ।
ওয়েলকাম। And so, yes. তাহলে কি আমি সাইন অফ করতে পারি with all your permission, and thanks a lot for your patience. This has been wonderful. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Bhattacharya, and thank you all the students. Thank you so much, and feel free to contact me. Please share my email ID and phone number.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
So all the participants are requested to leave the meeting, please.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
It's already past 12, so it's good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. কৌশিক লিভ করো না, তিস্তা মনে হয় লিভ করে গেল নাকি?
আরো কয়জন রয়েছে বটানিতে? আচ্ছা, আরো কয়জন রয়েছে কারা?
सर कौशिक सर प्लीज वो OBS को थोड़ा वो कर दीजिएगा, अभी स्ट्रीमिंग बंद कर दीजिए।